So a little while back I made a video on how I'd start investing in property with £50,000 and that video did surprisingly well. But since then I've had loads of messages, comments, emails and one-to-one consulting sessions, and one thing's become really clear. Most of you aren't starting with £50,000, you're starting with around £20,000. And that's actually pretty close to where I started myself. I had £25,000 when I bought and refurbished my first little studio flat. I still own it today and it's been renting well ever since. So if you're sat there with about £20,000 in the bank and wondering if it's enough to get into property investment, well this video is for you. Because £20,000 can actually be a frustrating amount. It's enough to make you think that you can do something big, but not quite enough to make it easy. And that's where people often go wrong. So here's how I want to break it down. There are really two main paths when you've got £20,000 to invest, and which one makes sense depends on the answer to a simple question. Can you live in the property yourself? So let's talk about path one, if you can live in the property. Well, this is where your £20,000 stretches the furthest. You can usually buy a property with a 5% deposit instead of the 25% that you normally need for a buy to let. And that's because it's a residential property for yourself, so the bank sees it as less risk. And if you're a first time buyer, well, even better. So speaking right now in August 2025, you don't pay any stamp duty on purchases up to £300,000 for your own residential first-time buyer property. So that could be thousands of pounds saved immediately from paying tax. So with this path one option, you will be living in the property and your £20,000 might stretch to a property value worth £180,000 to £200,000, somewhere in that range, and it depends on your income and the lender. And once you've got the keys to the house, there are three different ways that you can play it from there. Option one is the live-in refurb and refinance. I call it the learn and leverage, and this is the most beginner friendly. You buy a tired but livable place, you move in and improve it gradually whilst you're living there. There's no pressure on your head, you're not paying for two homes at the same time, and you can do it all at your own pace. And you've got a roof over your head, and it's hopefully not a leaking one. So you learn as you go, and that's actually how I started. I picked up loads from YouTube videos, from some mates, and a very handy father-in-law who showed me the ropes. Massive shout out to him. But you'd be surprised about how much of the renovation you can do yourself with a bit of confidence and time learning. But here's the kicker. Once you've added some value to the property, you can then refinance while you're still living there. But that means you can release some of the uplift as cash, ready to roll into your next investment. So you bought a property for £200,000, you added about £50,000 in value over the first 2 years because you've got a 2-year fixed loan. Then when you refinance it at that higher £250,000 value and you get to pull out more cash. You build skills, you add value, you pull out some money and you move a step closer into investing properly. And if you decide it's not for you, well, no problem, you've got a house that you've bought, you've renovated and it's worth more. And you can either stay living there or sell it and do something else. One really useful thing to note, if you've got a spare room in the property, you can even rent it out to a lodger and make up to £7,500 a year, tax-free under the government's rent-a-room scheme. That's extra cash flow and your first taste of actually being a landlord. Now, if instead of refinancing you prefer to just cash out completely, that brings us to the next approach, which is option two, and that is the live-in flip, or what I call a cash builder. Now this one's more short term. You buy the property, you live in it, you refurb it just the same as before, but instead of staying, you sell it on after a year or two. So the big benefit here is tax. If it's genuinely been your main residence, and you can prove that, you usually don't pay capital gains tax when you sell. So you keep more of your profit. Yes, you still will have the selling costs, estate agent fees, legals, but this can be a smart way to grow your pot quickly without ever having to deal with tenants. But the downside is you'll have to move again, which might be fine if you're flexible, but a bit harder if you've got kids like I do. But if you want to build cash fast, this is the cash builder route and it's set up for that. But let's say you don't want to sell, you don't want to do the live-in flip. You want to keep the property and turn it into your first rental property. Well, that's where the third option comes in, and that's the live in, then let out, or the long-term investor strategy. This is the long game. You buy in it, you live in it, you refurb it to add value, then you actually move out, switch it onto buy-to-let mortgage, and you rent it out as your first rental property. Now, if that sounds super appealing to you, just be aware there is a big catch to it. Lenders want you to leave at least 25% equity in the property to get a mortgage on a rental property. So if you only put down 5% to buy the property, because you had a 5% deposit, you'll have needed to add at least 25% more value through your refurb before you can refinance and switch it to a buy-to-let. That is quite a big uplift and not every deal will get you there. So it only really helps if you bought well and you refurbed it well too. Still, despite that, this is the long-term investor route. It's a slower burn, but it gets you your first rental and sets you up for a portfolio. So if you can live in the property, you've actually got three really solid strategies there. the live-in, refurb and refinance, where you learn and leverage, the live-in flip, which I consider the cash builder, and then the live-in then let, which I consider the long-term investor. And the nice thing is you don't even need to decide straight away. You can move in, start the refurb, and then just see which direction makes the most sense as things develop. But what if you can't live in it at all? Well, let's look at that side. So this is path 2, if you can't live in the property. Let's be honest, not everyone can move. Maybe you already own your own home, or you're tied to an area for work or family. So in quite a few of my consulting sessions, I've spoken to people who are looking to invest from London. And with the budget of £20,000, there's pretty much nowhere that you can buy in London as your first investment property. So for those people, you'd be looking at purchasing outside of London. But if your job is there and your family are there maybe, then it's pretty unlikely for you that you'll move elsewhere and move into the property. So in this situation, you're buying purely as an investment, and that means buy-to-let rules. 25% deposit minimum, additional stamp duty, legal fees, broker fees, refurb, all out of your £20,000, which to be honest means you're shopping at the very cheap end of the market. But don't let that dissuade you. You are getting started in property investment, and the intention is to build from there. So you'll be looking at cheap buy-to-lets. Think in the region of £50,000 to £60,000. They do exist, usually up north or in smaller towns where the prices are low and demand is steady. So for example, let's think of a property worth £60,000. Well, with a 25% deposit, that's a deposit of £15,000, you've only got £5,000 left. The stamp duty as an additional property would be about £3,000, again speaking in August 2025. Your fees would be about £1,500, and that would leave you only £500 left for the refurb. So it's not much. In this case, you'll likely need to top up with your income as you go, or maybe even use short-term finance. But just remember that's usually against your own credit and income, so it's not a long-term solution. In the first property that I did, the studio flat, I ended up buying a kitchen from IKEA using 0% finance, because it just made more sense for me at the time. So that is an option that you could have. But again, it's particular to your situation because it will be backed by your own personal income. So this route does work if the rent covers the mortgage, the area has a solid tenant demand, and you're okay managing it, even from a distance. But if that sounds like you're close but not quite there, another option that you have is to partner up. So this could be with a family member, a friend, or even your spouse. Someone who can top up the budget or take on some of the work themselves. But if you do that, get clear up front who's putting in what, how are you going to split the profits, and what happens if one of you wants out. It's better to get that in writing and sign it too. Partnering up is not for everyone, but it can help make the numbers work on that first deal. So I know I've been super positive here about what I would do with £20,000 in property investing, but I'd be doing you guys a disservice if I didn't talk about what I wouldn't do with £20,000. So at this stage, I'd avoid flips without living there. It's too risky and there's just not enough buffer in flips. HMOs, they're very expensive and complex, not great for first-time investors. And auctions or bridging loans. There's so much risk if things go wrong. But let's wrap it up here. If you can live in the property, that is hands down your best starting point. You can use a smaller deposit, avoid the stamp duty up to 300k for a first-time buyer, and then maybe even bring in tax-free income if you've got a lodger. And you've got 3 clear strategies from there. And the best part is you don't even need to lock yourself into the path on day one. But if you can't live in it, you'll need to keep it simple. So cheap buy-to-lets, light refurbs, maybe even a partnership. Either way, £20,000 is enough to start. And I know that because I started with just a bit more, £25,000. And that first project set me on the path that I'm still on today. If you want help figuring out what path forward might be best for you, well, that's exactly what I do in my one-to-one consulting sessions. There's a link in the description if you want to book one. And if you've got slightly more than £20,000 to invest and want to see how that scales, check out my video over here on how I'd invest £50,000. Thank you for watching and good luck with whichever path you take.